Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Kitchen Chemistry with Mr. Dre. Today, what we are going to be doing is investigating melting points of our two compounds that we're looking at. I have samples that I have prepared of each that I will now let you take a look at. So this is my fat. I actually had to melt these down first so I could get them into the bottom of the tube, but I have re-solidified them. So this is, if you notice, this one has 2 grams of fat in it. This one has 5 grams. Same with the soap. So what we are going to be investigating today is, does the amount of matter, so 2 grams versus 5 grams, affect the point at which it will melt? Here are my soap samples. They look a little bit different, just so you know what they look like. Soap, it's solid soap, so it's kind of like a powder. And again, I have 2 grams in here, 5 grams in here. That'll be important for your tables. The experimental setup, I'll just walk you through real quick. Also, no real safety concerns here because it's just, one. So this is a hot plate. This is a burner. So it's hot, and I shouldn't touch it. I do not need goggles, though, today because it's just soap and fat. I could use gloves if I wanted to, but quite honestly, I don't really see the point, and just seems like a little bit too much to me. I can always wash my hands. I have other soap, and I mean, if you've ever gotten fat on or soap on your hands, like, not a huge deal. So last piece of our setup is we have our thermometer right here. I'm gonna try to place this somewhere where you can see it. All right, there we go. So if we look, our temperature, the temperature of our water is right here. It is 15 degrees Celsius right now. I'm gonna set this up to boiling just so it doesn't go off and annoy me. Set it a little bit above boiling, actually, so it doesn't go off on me. And then I had to do a little bit of thinking out of the box on this one because I couldn't really figure out how to easily get my test tubes in here. So I just took a lid, I cut some holes in it, and now I can kind of jam these test tubes in there and put it on top, and then it will hold them. So I'm gonna place each one of my test tubes in here. Remember, we have 2 grams in this one, 5 grams in this, and we are investigating whether the amount of matter is going to affect the melting point of that matter. So I'm gonna move the camera a little bit closer. I'm gonna keep track of the temperatures off camera, but I really want you to be able to see. Also, the melting point is going to be the point at which it begins melting, not necessarily the point at which it is fully melted. And my thermometer is, I'm gonna place it right next to my test tubes so I get a more accurate temperature. All right, so the experiment has begun. I have turned on the burner. Before we really get into it, though, I do want you to make a quick prediction. So which one do you think is going to melt sooner? Is it gonna be the fat or the soap? Which one will melt first? So the burner is now on. We are at 16, 17 degrees Celsius. And I'm gonna start a timer as well, just so we can time this. This is very annoying, trying to keep both of them in view. Okay, that's gonna be the best we can get, really. All right, so we are paying attention for the point at which our solids begin to melt. should be able to start seeing the red from burner. It looks like it's boiling the water off. That was on the bottom of the beaker. We are now at 20 degrees. It's actually really cool. So what you're seeing at the bottom is the water is heating up. And as the water heats up, it loses density and it moves up to the top. And what you're seeing there is the actual convection currents we talked. Actually, no, we haven't talked about yet. So those are the currents of hot water moving up to the top, and then they will cool and fall back down. It's really beautiful. It actually doesn't look like this to the naked eye. All right, we're at 33 degrees Celsius right now. I haven't seen any melting begin to happen yet. Keep a close eye for it though, because it will happen very quickly. We're at 46 degrees Celsius right now. I think I'm beginning to see some melting. Yep. If you look at the bottoms, so we're at 48. 50. Maybe not quite yet. So we're halfway to boiling now. This is about body temperature. A little bit above. 55. Yep, here we go. They're beginning to melt, both of them. You can see liquid forming. We're at 57 degrees Celsius. So I'm gonna mark that down in my lab document. Remember, melting point is when they begin to melt. They both did it at the same time at 57 degrees Celsius. And we will let this play out until they're fully melted, just so you guys can observe the process. I'm gonna turn the burner off. So beautiful. So we're at 65 degrees Celsius. We are well above the melting point, which is 57. And we will measure a final temperature when they are both done melting. We're at 68. Looks like our smaller tube is almost there. Just a little bit of solid left. Wow. That's so cool to watch. That is so cool. So they both even finished melting at nearly the same time, maybe 5 seconds more for the double weight. So very cool, very cool. I need you to make some observations into your lab document, and we will pick up in just a couple of minutes with the soap.